Evening again, folks. Davey here with your health and safety briefing. Quick one this time. If you're planning on bartering in the village hall, don't bring your karaoke machine. No one wants it, no one needs it, and it's a fire hazard when you plug it into a dodgy extension lead. Also, please don't write IOUs on the back of beer mats. They don't hold up well in the rain. That's all. Over to the main session.
Right then, hello Britain, Alice Clare here, dragging you once again through another instalment of Neighbourly Noodles, proudly part of the Armageddon Runway series, a PPFM production. And yes, I'm still here, doing my bit for the educational collapse of civilization. I'm paid just about enough for 2 pints of milk and a bag of spuds, so let's make it worth the while, shall we? Tonight's subject, bartering. Britain's alternative to money and proof will argue about anything, even the value of a half-empty jar of instant coffee. We've covered food, non-food, and the occasional emotional breakdown, but this time it's personal, because when society starts swapping, it isn't the tins that cause the trouble, it's the people. Picture the scene. The community hall swept out, tables wobbling, a sign that says, fair trade, fair play, and Trevor guarding a box of miscellaneous junk while insisting that an electric toothbrush without a charger is still a bargain. Brits hate talking about money, always have. We'd rather lose a limb than ask for exact change, so take away money entirely, and you don't get a brave new world. You get a social experiment gone horribly British. The rules, of course, are unspoken because we're far too polite to admit they exist. Don't sniff the tin you're offered. This isn't wine tasting, it's desperate living. Don't ask, is that all? When someone hands you a torch, it might be their prized possession. And never ever call anything a bit tatty. That's fighting talk in your nan's knitwear. We don't ask, we hint, we mumble. We hope someone else takes the initiative. Would you consider parting with that screwdriver only if it's no trouble? Oh no, please take it, I insist. Both of them lying, both planning passive-aggressive revenge next week. Then comes the cue, controlled chaos in its Sunday best. Trevor swears he was before Denise. Denise swears Trevor was loitering near the biscuits. By the time it's sorted, the biscuits are gone, and everyone's pretending not to care while quietly plotting vengeance. There are always special items. The rusty saw that is apparently antique. The expired custard powder that's suddenly vintage. Smile, decline, never visit that stall again. And once the gossip starts, the bartering stops. Sheila won't trade with Trevor because of what he said about her greenhouse in 2007. Colin keeps bringing that same bag of tangled extension leads like it's a family heirloom. Davy, bless him, still believes bin bags are worth their weight in gold, and to be fair, in a downpour he isn't wrong. Right, that's the skeleton. Now let's put some meat on it, ethically sourced, traded for a pack of double A's and a half-melted candle. Once upon a time we flashed bits of plastic, heard the little beep, and felt like adults until the statement arrived. Now you're stood in front of a table of oddities, trying to work out the exchange rate of shame. Batteries are hard currency. AA and AAA are fivers and tenors. C and D are those weird trolley coins nobody can break. 9 volts are the obscure foreign notes that only fit screaming smoke alarms. Torches with working bulbs are blue chip stock. Torches without bulbs are speculative crypto. Bin bags, ironically, function like government bonds. Boring, solid, surprisingly powerful when Trevor's compost turns carnivorous. Tea is our stability index. Loose leaf is the gold standard. Tea bags are fiat currency backed by confidence and hot water. And herbal tea collapses faster than a lettuce that won a leadership contest. Instant coffee promises much and delivers little. Ground coffee is aspirational. Whole beans are hedge fund nonsense. A great way to spend an evening grinding your own disappointment. And spices run the shadow economy. Cumin buys privacy, smoked paprika buys forgiveness, turmeric buys a stain that outlives regimes. Now, the personalities. Think of them as local wildlife. Approach with care and never feed after midnight. There's the archivist, everything labelled and tested. Trade with them and your cupboard will look like it's expecting a royal inspection. The opportunist appears only during power cuts with tea lights and moral flexibility. Defeat them by sighing in a northern accent and saying, "You're having a laugh." The historian attaches a family saga to every teaspoon. You'll trade just to escape the anecdote. The minimalist arrives empty-handed for the community and leaves with your torch. The engineer is kingmaker, fixes anything with pliers, tape and rage. Treat them like royalty because their nod is worth 3 tins and a working generator. The nostalgist believes VHS is coming back and must be gently redirected to the historian for a story off. The spreadsheet has a laminated rate card where 2 tins equal 1 torch equal 3 loo rolls equal 5 minutes of gutter cleaning. Never agree to their maths, just say, "That wasn't on my syllabus," and retreat. The martyr wants nothing honestly until they notice everyone else trading and start a sulk that could power a small village. The rulemaker brings barcodes and marshals and is peacefully overthrown via bake sale by week 3. And the barter bard brings a guitar, plays Wonderwall, and can only be drowned out by kettles and louder conversation. Your table is a tiny shop with aspirations. Signage saves arguments. Torches with working batteries tested, blankets freshly laundered. Bundles make magic. A torch with 4 double A's and a small screwdriver is the sort of deal people surrender paprika for. Demonstrate what lights or turns, but maybe don't demonstrate what stabs. Keep the nice soap near blankets and the mysterious chemical bouquet far away from anything edible. And always have a little basket marked free, take one, be kind, full of elastic bands and odd screws. It buys more goodwill than any sermon, and it directs foot traffic exactly where you want it. Back to the queue wars. Doors open at 7, people arrive at 6:30 to queue for a queue that hasn't been invented. Trevor reserves a spot with his coat. Denise counters with custard creams placed like boundary stones. Sheila escalates with a fold-up chair. Davy rolls in a bin bag like it's a flag. Someone suggests a sign-in sheet. The rulemaker appears in a cloud of laminate dust. The spreadsheet launches an app that nobody can load. The historian recalls queuing in silence and fear, which is either nostalgic or a cry for help. At 7, the British shuffle begins. A little forward, a little back, trying to be first without being seen to be first. A tin drops, 8 people apologise to the tin, only one force is stronger than the queue, the kettle. Quick brew, the kettle suggests, and civilization resets. The art is in the dialogue. Practice your lines with a mug in hand. "Oh, that's lovely. Not quite what I'm after today," meaning never in this lifetime. "If that torch had a strap, I'd be all over it." And watch the engineer materialise with a shoelace. Would you consider 2 packs rather than 3, as it doesn't have a bulb? Facts plus humility equals progress. I'm being terribly cheeky, but could we call it 1 jar of coffee and a smile? Though do remember the smile incurs a service charge. Red flags come in tasteful colours. Anything called artisan that looks like it was born in a shed. Batteries sold loose like raisins. Never used items wearing dust older than some governments. People who say it's rare, which is the culinary cousin of it's fine once you scrape the top off. IOUs on napkins, which have the tensile strength of wet tissue and the credit rating of a soap bubble. If you absolutely must do credit, go full ceremony. A proper bit of card, names, date, exact trade, agreed return, signatures, perhaps the historian as witness, and a photo if such magic exists. Otherwise, remember the beer mat principle. The moment it rains, your credit dissolves. We don't just trade objects, we swap favours, gossip and forgiveness at wildly fluctuating emotional exchange rates. A secret can buy a blanket temporarily, but secrets are inflationary. Once a second person knows, the value halves hourly. A favour matures over weeks. Miss the maturity date and the interest is savage. A quiet good deed, like mending a gate, is a sovereign wealth fund of goodwill. That's 5 queue places and first refusal on any torch with a strap for at least a month. Guard your reputation. It's the only currency that appreciates. There are things that simply shouldn't be bartered but always are. Half-used toiletries, which are less economics and more forensic evidence. Opened medicines. Bring those, and the treasurer is entitled to clonk you with a ledger. The one fancy plate that must never be used. It is cursed and should remain at home radiating disapproval from a dresser. Pets, we are not Noah's car boot. Mystery jars. If you need a séance to identify it, it is not a swap, it is a summoning. The bright spot in all this is skill swaps. Competence is king. 10 minutes fixing a hinge and you're walking away with batteries. 20 minutes resurrecting a lamp and you've earned a blanket. 30 minutes coaxing a radio to life and you receive 2 blankets, an embargo on gossip, and possibly the last slice of fruitcake on earth. Teaching counts too. A 5-minute safe stove demo might not buy tea today, but your phone will ring first when someone finds powdered milk tomorrow. Etiquette of inspection is delicate. Yes, test the switch and check the dent, but quietly. One discreet click, a polite nod, a small ah if impressed. Sniff once if you must. Soft, like remembering a summer in Devon where jam didn't start arguments. If you find a problem, it's a bit temperamental, invites the engineer. It's dead, invites unrest. Children are tiny economists with pockets full of lint and chaos. Give them a little swap zone of crayons and stickers so they don't trade your head torch for a pebble that looks like a dog. If a child turns up with a live toad, accept with grace, redirect to the pond, declare a biodiversity win and move on. Security should be gentle, not paranoid. Keep valuables on your person. Batteries, lighters, chocolate, especially chocolate, a Class A morale booster. Bags go under tables, not behind you. Behind you is a pickpocket's playground. Under you is surprise yoga. Use the buddy system. I'll watch yours while you watch mine, which reduces opportunity and increases chat, the whole point really. Fairness is the difference between savvy and shark. If someone's struggling, ease the deal. If you've cornered the market on loo roll, consider a cap. If you're about to win a trade that leaves your neighbour cold and miserable, ask whether you want that victory on your conscience. Misery compounds, generosity accrues interest. And yes, talk about the weather. Small talk is a doorway. Looks like rain later quietly means I have tarpaulin. Bit nippy means blanket season. Lovely light means solar chargers on special. Do not wink, that's sales. And now a public service message for Colin. The bag of tangled extension leads is the ship of Theseus in cable form. One socket replaced each week until no original part remains. And yet somehow it's the same cursed hydra. The ritual is simple. 2 people, 3 apologies, a sacrificial paperclip. Test with the engineer. If it works, cautious clapping. If it doesn't, give it a hero's funeral in the e-waste bin and stop redonating it. We are not the Museum of Colin. You can't always swap for luxury, but you can trade for ideas. Pea puree with dignity, mushy peas, mint sauce, splash of oil, suddenly posh. Apocalypse crumble with tinned fruit and crushed biscuits. Bake it if you can, eat it defiantly if you can't. Anything soup, onion, something, stock cube, and optimism. Recipes are morale swaps. They cheat the blandness and make neighbours friendlier. A decent fare has a bulletin board at the door, wanted and offered notes, skill slots for bike fixing Saturday, lost and found, odd gloves and dignity. Notices about choir practice moving, alerts that Trevor is banned from karaoke again, and a warning that someone's compost is behaving suspiciously. A good board turns chaos into a village operating system. Saying no without starting a civil war is an art. I'd rather someone who really needs that gets it, is velvet-gloved refusal that also makes you sound saintly, use sparingly, or risk canonization. I'm at my torch limit also works. We all know someone with 8 headlamps who sleeps like a miner and wakes like a deer. When the lights go out mid-fare, and they will, treat it as a drill. Torches up but don't blind each other. We're bartering, not interrogating. The engineer will shout, "Fuse!" Someone else will shout, "Kettle!" And a brave soul will hum, "God save the tea." Order will be restored by steam. For the apocalypse etiquette crowd, here's the spirit of it without the laminate. Cue like you mean it. Label like you love them. Inspect politely and reject gently. No sniffing, we've discussed this. Don't sell favours you can't deliver. Share the good stuff now and then. Admit when something's broken, it's a wire, not a moral failing. Remember names, especially the engineers. Limit Wonderwall. Respect the kettle ceasefire. Never trade medicine. If in doubt, bring biscuits. Afterwards comes the debrief cuppa, where reputations are minted and amended. Bobby fixed my radio nudges the credibility index up. Denise will bring the charger next time, extends polite credit. Trevor reserved the queue with his coat, triggers sanctions and a strongly worded tut. Write one thing for next week, not 10, because the human brain can only store so many bulbs and straps before wandering off to wonder whether powdered milk expires if you glare at it. Scarcity makes us weird. Barter isn't just economics, it's identity management. We're all trying to be the sort of person who has it together. The table you set becomes a mirror, which is why people keep bringing extension leads they hate. They're trading the fantasy of usefulness. Be kind to yourself. You're not a spreadsheet. You're a person with a slightly dented tin of tomatoes and a heart that wants everyone to have soup. If you like something tidy to stick on the fridge, 2 items to trade, properly labelled, 1 actually useful freebie basket, a mug, a pen, a bit of card for IOUs that might survive drizzle, a spare strap or bit of string because it creates value out of thin air, and a smile that says, "We're in this together," not hand over the AAs and no one gets hurt. We do get letters, in my head, and the answers are simple. If your neighbour says their beans are artisan, don't call the police, call the vicar and ask them to bless the aisle. How many torches is too many when you can see your conscience at night? Is it wrong to trade for chocolate? Number, it's wrong not to. Someone swapped you a whisk that whistles. Treasure it. Absurdity is currency. We joke, but here's the useful bit. Make bartering ordinary now while the lights are on. Swap skills before you need them. Agree on the basics. No medicine trades. Label the electrics. Queues start at the door and end at the kettle. Keep small dignity reserves. A fresh tea towel, a bar of soap that isn't wartime, a candle that doesn't smell of regrets. Little things buy calm. Calm buys time. As for me, I'll keep showing up with my spud money sarcasm and battered clipboard because someone has to narrate the gentle chaos. Part community service, part hobby, part plea for a pay rise. If milk climbs again, we'll be rebranding to Neighbourly Noodles, Water Edition. Until then, you've got your lists, your etiquette, and a healthy suspicion of vintage custard powder. Remember, in this grand experiment we call pretending everything's fine, reputation is your real currency and tea is your central bank. Stick around or drop by the last show and play catch-up if you've got sod all else to do. I'll be here regardless, tapping the tin, counting the spud money, and wondering if anyone's finally found a charger for Trevor's toothbrush.
Cheers, Alice. As ever, beautifully said. One day, Dougie might even trust me with a show of me own. Not holding my breath, mind you. That wraps up another Neighbourly Noodles seminar, part of the Armageddon Runway series, brought to you by PPFM Productions. Next time we're back with more apocalypse prep, more neighbourly nonsense and fewer karaoke cables. Thanks for listening. And the same old spiel, drop a like, a share and please subscribe as it helps us out. And if you fancy leaving a comment, well that would be great. It will give Alice something else to do than count her spud takings. See you laters.